talk about it at the top.
Talk about what, Tariq?
Oh, okay. I like got tired of buying cups, so I spent my hard-earned money on these like 1985 vintage Alvin and the Chipmunks glasses.
You make sure that those aren't painted with lead.
Oh,
Do your research. Do your research.
I don't know, man. I've been drinking out of it every day, and
For
also
those who,
there's a straw in it because there's a metal straw.
yeah,
My roommate's
saving the environment.
mom. Yeah, my roommate's mom sent him a package for his birthday, and in it, she had straws for all three of us, and she like
Wow.
put like a little tag on each one that had like our first letter. Like mine said T,
Oh, that's
and
cute.
I think this might be the best gift I've ever gotten, and it wasn't even my birthday.
For those who are just listening at home and not watching the video, Tariq has a really fancy old vintage Chipmunks glass, which is is that Theodore?
No, this is Simon.
Simon, I'm bad at Chipmunks. I'm bad at Chipmunks.
A million people at home in podcast land just like threw their fucking hands up, whoever they are.
Yeah, they're so mad at me.
Yeah, because you didn't know the big chipmunk.
I know. You know what? I'll watch more Chipmunks. I won't.
We can do those on
I'm
Patreon.
lying to all of you.
No, man. We don't gotta do. No, we don't gotta do.
You won't do Scooby Doo.
No, not the shitty ones, man. We don't gotta do the live action ones. We could do the cartoons.
I think that would be a fun nostalgia trip.
Nice.
Plus, you're a Scoob boy.
What the fucking the Scooby Doo? Wait, which you talking about the live action ones? Because I can't. Nah, man.
You can't do it, but most people can't do Scoob. But you can do Scoob.
Hey, did I ever tell you what happened at the end of July for the same roommate's birthday? So. The same roommate.
Did they cancel Scoob Holiday Haunt?
No, not on his birthday. That would have been sick. That would have been so sick. He for some reason he wanted to watch Scoob. Like he kept proposing it to me. We have a projector downstairs, so we went downstairs and we watched Scoob on a projector. And after I watched it, I went, "Oh, that's what everybody meant." Oops. Yikes.
Oh man. It sucks about that. Sucks about the sequel being pretty much done and getting canned. That's pretty fucked up, if you ask me.
That was like the first domino in like a slew of just like
that and Batgirl.
Yeah, and then after that, it was just fucked every day.
I don't know if you guys have heard, but HBO Max sucks now. It was the best streaming service, and now it's the worst streaming service. It was the best of services. It was the worst of services. It's like the fastest. It's just fucking nose dove into the goddamn ground.
Yeah.
I just realized it's still on. I hope this isn't messing with my audio. I'm gonna turn this off. I think it's fine. Huge bummer. HBO Max took off like 40 titles, animated titles yesterday, including Infinity Train, which is a fucking masterpiece.
Including Infinity Train and like OKKO,
and fucking Mau and fucking Summer Camp
that Ellen
Island,
cartoon,
so much shit. Ellen,
Summer
there's a whole
Camp
season
Island.
of Ellen. There's a whole season of Ellen that they're not gonna put on. It's a finished season. It's fucked up. It's fucked up. I don't understand.
That Victor and Valentino on Summer Camp Island, they're like, thankfully they at least get to finish their run on Cartoon Network.
But they also said that they wrote it specifically for streaming. And they're like, we did arcs made for streaming to watch it all at once, and now we're on TV. It's like, it's just fucking weird. We'll see how it goes. And then like on top of that, they're removing that shit from. They removed the pilot of Infinity Train from YouTube.
Yeah, they took all evidence that them shits existed, like off the YouTube. deleted tweets, fam.
It's
Like, you can't buy the
insane.
fucking DVDs. Like,
I think that's because people rushed and bought out the stock that was left, and they're still not producing more of the DVDs. But like, I think those just sold out really fast because everyone was like, "Fuck, I have to get these while while I still can," because they were listed as like the #1 seller in kids like TV media yesterday or whatever, and now they're all sold out. It's bullshit. I wish they would put that show on Blu-ray, do a complete series thing. It's all
it's
fucked
over
up.
for that, though.
Everything's a disaster. I think
Yeah.
I got a inside track at HBO, and I think some other things are safe for now. Some things I was very worried about are safe for now. Hopefully they stay safe. Like, I was really worried that Venture Bros would get canceled again. Because got canceled in the last merger, and then they were like, "Well, we'll do one more movie to wrap it, to give you a chance to wrap it up." And I think it's cheap enough, and that they're so far along enough that that's going to get made.
Okay.
So that's good. And I know Jackson Public was posting backgrounds the other day, so I think they're still fucking making it. And
Man,
then there's some other
Bros
stuff.
cheap? That show looks expensive.
I think it's just because it's one special that's cheap.
Okay.
Like, they're doing one special, and also compared to some other stuff. Like, I think there's some other stuff probably on the chopping block. I think we talked about it. Like, well, we won't list it by name, but the more expensive ones are going to get cut, I think, which sucks, which fucking sucks. Especially because like 2020 was literally like, oh yay, animation is saving us because of the pandemic. We can all do this from wherever. And now they're like, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck off of our service.
Yeah, man, that's the sickest part about this shit. It's
fucking
like, if the past few days has shown me anything, it's just how, like, I felt like we had come such a far way with animation, but like, nah, it's still seen as disposable, bro. Like, no matter what you achieve in storytelling or like how good it does, like, they just won't. I don't know what it is, bro. I don't know what it is. It's so, at the very moment we were able to like see each other in person and like actually film things, they was like, oh yeah, fuck that. Get all that drawing shit out of here. Like, we don't need any of that. Dude, that shit is so nuts. It's fucked up, man. It's like, I've seen people say like some of the first episodes of TV they worked on were like in just the seasons that like were complete, but like just can't come out, like, and they just won't ever be able to see audience reaction.
Scoob's animation is done. They were working on like lighting and like the finishing touches. They animated the whole fucking movie.
And then after they canceled this shit, they recorded the score anyway because they already paid the motherfucker.
Thank God they fucking did that. That's cool. I'm glad they did it, because you know what?
That means whenever somebody leaked this shit, it's gonna have music. That's what that mean to me.
Or at the very least, like, it makes it an easy way to like for somebody to swoop in and be like, here's the extra what we need it costs to wrap this movie up, and then we release it. It's frustrating, man. It's all dumb. I don't know, man. I'm going to keep my HBO Max for now because of Tuca and Birdie and The Rehearsal. And I just want to keep watching Tuca and Birdie over and over to make sure that shit keeps going.
I kind of just,
but
yeah.
Like, I'm so ready to can that service though. Like, if I could go back to HBO Go where I could just get regular HBO and not like it literally went from my favorite service to like me just being so frustrated, frustrated by everything they're doing.
I feel you. What I usually use it for is like the Issa Rae stuff, like whether I'm rewatching Insecure or like watching rap shit.
And rap shit's great. I gotta watch the new one. Tuca. Dude, I told you I binged the first 5 rap shits. It's great.
No, you didn't.
Great. Yeah, I did. I texted you.
So you told me. I think you told me you started. I didn't know you watched all 5.
Oh, I watched them all in one day. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it was great. The show's great. Show rules.
Nice.
It's really good. I gotta watch the new one. But yeah. All right, let's talk about something fun now, because HBO Max is a bummer. Y'all, you see that weird King of the Hill alternate ending?
Sick shit. This is the
fucking weird shit. Sick. If you don't know what we're talking about, I made a video about it. Go check it out. But basically, King of the Hill was canceled during season 11, and they had already had the episode Lucky's Wedding Suit written, but they were like, well, I guess this one works as a finale. Let's tack on a new ending and make it the series finale. And then they did that, animated it, had it ready. Fox had a change of heart at the last second and picked the show up. So they chopped off that ending and changed it back to be less of a finale. And then they got 2 more seasons after that. But this fully animated ending to Lucky's Wedding Suit exists, and producer writer Jim Dotrieve posted it on this cool Facebook group called King of the Hill : Humpty's Revenge, which I believe is a Dale quote. Humpty's Revenge. Cool group. It's private, but you can go join it. You just have to answer some questions. They post some fun King of the Hill stuff, and Jim Dotrieve's like active on there and posts some cool shit. And he posted, it's like low quality because it's just him cell phone recording his screen of the animation, but it's a whole extra little 2-minute scene of King of the Hill that no one had seen before he posted it. And it's nuts. It's fucking weird. They do a couple fun things. They shout out a lot of episodes, which is funny. But they also claim that the whole show takes place over 1 year. That was like a big end of series reveal for that one, which, that shit was just wild to me, man. I was like, what the fuck? To call it out, because like, that's the thing about all these shows is that they either exist in the floating timeline or they don't, like, just the characters don't age. So like, there's always the idea that time's not moving or whatever, but at the same time, they've done how many Thanksgiving episodes and how many Christmas episodes and how many Halloween episodes. And yeah, it's just like, obviously there's continuity. Like, obviously time passes. Like, you have episodes that you have like the election episode that's pretty hyper specific to the year 2000. You've got an episode about, I guess this episode happened after this season, but there's an episode that features MySpace. Like, MySpace did not exist when the show started. The internet barely existed. And so that's a funny and weird thing to do. It's kind of, I think it's funny because it, like, when you have them list in that context all of the things that happened in the show, and then for them they all happen in 1 year, is pretty funny. I do think it's really funny. I just think the one thing about that I don't like is that it implies that, like, within less than a year Buckley died and then Luann got married. Like, I don't like that, but the rest of it is, Luann has over 1 year like 3 or 4 romances. Like, the big one with Buckley dies, Buckley's angel happens, best episode of the series, up there, one of my favorites. And then there's a couple weird episodes. There's the one where she like becomes a virgin again. She like gets, you know what I mean? They do the I was just thinking about that. And then I think it's Owen Wilson is the guest actor for him, and he like proposes to her. Like, they get engaged because they just want to have sex. Right. And then meets Lucky, and then Lucky like woos her, and then they date for a while, and then they get married. And I guess the rest happens after. I was gonna say, and then she has a baby, but that's after season 11. So like, that wasn't included in the 1 year thing. But still, it's weird. It's a funny thing. It's like, I mean, there's a lot that doesn't make sense about it. Like, but it's funny. I think it's pretty funny. But then the crazier thing that I think is that Jim Dotrieve explained that, so there's a couple lines where they're just talking about all the events of the show, all these things that happen. And Bill goes, remember that time that I stole a tank? and Hank goes, that never happened. that never happened. That was all a vivid dream when you ate at that Hungarian restaurant in McMainerberry. So Jim Dotrieve, and then he also says, and I wasn't born in New York, and I wasn't born in the Yankees, in like the ladies' room of the Yankee Stadium while Cotton tried to kill Fidel Castro with a blow dart. So those 2 episodes that they decanonized in this scene that would have, had that been the finale, been like officially decanonized
Right.
through that dialogue. And I guess Mike Judge never liked the tank thing, thought it was a little shark jumpy for him to steal a tank. And Jim Dotreif said he never liked Hank being born in New York. He liked him being a Texas boy. I love both of those episodes, though.
I do too. Do you think stealing the tank is the shark jumpy thing, or is the fact that he survives it exploding that's the shark jumpy thing?
I mean, you know what I would say is more shark jumpy than him surviving the exploding tank?
The reason
Peggy surviving the
fucking
skydiving fall.
Oh, dude, yeah, okay. I'll give you that.
They didn't decanonize that. Yeah, I don't know, man. There's just goofy, like there's some stuff gets goofy in that show. I don't know. There's so many things about those two episodes that I love. Like, I really love Hank's journey coming to accept that he wasn't born in Texas, but that doesn't mean he's not a Texan. I love the scene after they think Bill dies, of them just all like sending out their love to Bill because they lost one of their best friends. Like, there's a good. And also, like, the conspiracy angle of that episode is so funny, where they think that he was part of that government program, and that's what messed him up. And then Dale's lying. He goes, "They injected him with their deadly placebo drug." It's so good. And I don't know. I think those are great episodes. I think they're fucking great episodes.
They are.
But that is like calls into question, what will they do if this reboot comes to fruition? Are they going to like adhere to all of the established stuff from the original series, or are they going to pick and choose to set the stage however they might want to for the new revival if it happens? I don't know. What are you going to do? Are they going to really do the show without Cotton? They have to do the show without Luann and Lucky unless they recast.
Right.
I feel like they have to have a presence. I feel like you got to have Gracie be a character or something, right? Like, Gracie being their kid, Luann and Lucky's kid.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And GH.
I would love both of them, man. Right. I would love both of them. They're the next gen.
They are the next gen.
Even though GH was born in like season 4 and Gracie was born in season 13, and they're both babies.
Only a couple weeks. Only a couple weeks.
It's really funny. But I think that would be cool if they were the new kid angle of the show. And and then you can have these 3 layers of Hank still struggling to relate to Bobby, who's now struggling to relate to his uncle and his cousin, not cousin, but yeah, basically cousin, right. cousin's kid. I don't know. And you can start it. Maybe Bobby moves home. Maybe Gracie or GH have to move in. Maybe all happens at the same time. Maybe they all have to move back at the same time. And all of a sudden life is just like Hank and Peggy have been living this quiet, sweet life while Bobby's been out at school or whatever, living his life. And now all of a sudden converging of all these people into their lives. And just like how Luann kind of changed their lives when she moved in the pilot episode. So I don't know. I think there's some interesting stuff you can do there. Have you been watching the new Beavis and Butthead? Because I also brought that up in my video. It's very funny. Nah. It feels like the show never left. It's like,
that's what I've heard.
It's just classic. But it doesn't seem like they have acknowledged the fact that they've time jumped. Like, Tom Anderson's still in it, and he's just the same, unless he's really old now. It seems like Andreessen's the same age. I got a comment that said that he looks older, but I don't know. I couldn't tell. The difference.
Because you put that, he was in the video, right? He wasn't. Yeah, I didn't think so. Yeah, I didn't think.
Yeah,
the same.
But the show's great. It's very funny. There's my favorite one so far, I think, is the escape room. There's an escape room episode where they go to this escape room, and these two girls are there, and they don't have a full party, so Beavis and Butthead jump in, and they accidentally go to the bathroom and think that the bathroom is the escape room. And so they just start fucking up the bathroom, thinking it's an escape room. It's really funny. It's funny. It's good. I recommend it. I do think maybe the weak point is they still do music videos, which is cool, but like them watching TikToks is fine. It's not like amazing. Like, they watch TikToks and YouTube videos, and there's some funny ones for sure. Because because their commentary is always funny. But like, I'm into the story. I'm into the story sketches and stuff like that more than I am their commentary for the new stuff.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. This is a long intro. Should we move it along?
We gave him a whole bunch of topics, a whole bunch of thoughts on a whole bunch of topics.
Before we jump into the intro, check out the Patreon. We are now in the midst of talking about Matt Stone and Trey Parker's other works outside of South Park. We've already covered Cannibal the Musical. We will next be covering Orgasmo, and then Basketball, and then That's My Bush, and then Team America World Police. And eventually down the line, we're going to do Book of Mormon when we can all see it. But check that out. $5 a month. You get a bunch of bonus episodes. We have a ton of movies we've covered already, and that's what we're in the midst of, which is a fun mini-series. And then also, if you're here to follow along for American Dad Season 1, we are following the Wikipedia episode list, because on Hulu, Seasons 1 and 2 are combined. The Wikipedia lists... it lists the first 7 episodes of season 1. So I think they just split them for broadcast purposes. We couldn't watch 23 episodes for the first thing. It's going to get weird if we keep covering the show, though, because they also list season 11 as only having 3 episodes, which is just like the runoff from the previous season. Like, so we're going to have to figure that out. The numbers are going to be a mess for this one, y'all. We're very sorry. But also, who knows when we'll get there. That's
I didn't even fuck fam. It's like I watched all 7 and then like I looked up and another episode was on, and I was like, "Oh, okay. I guess I accidentally started season 2." And then when I like checked to see what episode it was, it says season 1, episode 8, and like my eyes bulged out of my head.
I was like, "Oh no, oh no!"
I was like, "Oh man, no, there's more." Oh man.
All right. Well, let's cue the theme song, and then we get talking about American Father.
I've been watching them for years. It's always been something that fit with all the animated characters that's doing their own bits. With a fry who's in the future and a family guy that sucks. With a father from a Hella Burger family runs a month. The show inspires is the same guy, except he totally say and diverse.
Let's watch cartoons that curse.
Yeah, that's bananas.
That's rough.
What the f*** is up, everybody? Welcome to Cartoons That Curse, the podcast about adult animated series, your favorite cartoons, in which they use swear words. My name is Johnny. I am a co-host of this fine podcast here with my good friend, Tariq. Tariq, how are you today?
I'm all right. How you doing?
I'm all right. I'm all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like it's been a long week. I don't know why.
Good morning, first and foremost. Good morning, USA.
Good morning, USA. I have a feeling that it's going to be... It's almost 4:20. Oh, it's after 4:20. Damn it.
Oh man, I was about to say nice, but it being after is not that nice.
It's okay. I can't get stoned for the pod. I don't have the fortitude you have.
The chops.
I was talking about someone this the other day. I just don't smoke like I used to. I smoke before bed. That's my new routine. That's my thing.
Okay.
But I get bad at things when I'm stoned during the day. Just bad at everything, especially socializing. So this would have been a miserable experience if I were stoned. I'd be like, oh, American Dad.
Just like that. It's that South Park shit all over again, bro.
I gotta listen to it again, man. I don't remember it being that bad.
I don't know if the episode is bad. People listening, please let us know if that episode is bad. I have no idea if that episode is bad. I just remember how I felt, and I was like, oh shit, I can't do this now. But it was my fault. So
we got one mean comment about our last South Park episode. Did you see that mean comment?
Yeah, it was me.
Yeah, it was there. It was on you. They put it on you.
It was because the boy didn't bring his A game. So I guess I didn't like the cartoon episodes. So I don't
know. I thought we had good combos for that one. I don't know. I'm gonna listen to it again. I thought it was good. So yeah, I'm sorry we disappointed you in our South Park episode commenter, whose name I don't remember. We'll try harder next time. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Check out our Patreon for our Matt Stone and Trey Parker series. If you were disappointed in our South Park episode, pay us for others.
Yeah, and I feel hey, maybe I sound better in those. I don't know. I might. It's only one way for you to find out, though.
Yeah, Look, if you check out the Patreon, especially the cannibal episode, it will be a spadoinkle day. But today, it's
that fucking wait. Hold on, I don't. For some reason, I really wanted to rewatch that episode after we filmed it. So when Mikey finished it, I watched it.
Yeah.
And that fucking clip, man, that dude fucking...
It's so funny.
I'm fucking with his pants.
I had to cut it up a bit. I had to cut it up a bit because they do a whole thing first where they're like, oh my God, a sheep. And then they pan over them. So I had to cut that out because I just needed to go sheep to the unbuckling. It's so funny. It's so funny.
That shit is hilarious.
It's good physical comedy, the way that
he's like grabbing him like this. He's like, no, stop.
So funny. Oh, man, it's great.
Go to Patreon to figure out what we're talking about.
Also, I do want to point out, we'll talk about it on the Patreon episode next too, but South Park just did the South Park concert. Did you watch it yet?
No, I didn't, but I will.
You got to watch it. I'm mad. I tried to get tickets. I couldn't get them. They did a second show, and I probably could have tried harder and gotten tickets to it, but it was in Colorado. I didn't do it. But I have major FOMO after watching this, so you can check it out. I think it was on Comedy Central. I don't know where you can air it now, but it's great. It's like just a full-on concert with Primus and Ween playing all the songs with them. But if you liked our Cannibal episode, you liked that movie, Cannibal the Musical, they did a song from Cannibal the Musical. They did the love song for his horse about Leanne called When I Was on Top of You. A great song. Probably the best song in the movie. But it was funny. It was just cool to see them do that all these years later. Like because that was 93 when they made that shit. So it's been like 30 years. It's been 30 years.
Next year.
Yeah. So good stuff. It was good stuff. Anyways, we're here today to talk about a little show called American Dad. We are covering, like I said, the first 7 episodes.
Because that's how they were broadcast.
That's right. That's how they were broadcast. I'm sure you know, it's an animated sitcom created by Seth MacFarlane, as well as Mike Barker and Matt Weitzman. And I guess the impetus of this show, it was kind of in the midst of Family Guy's first cancellation. And like they said that Seth and Mike and Matt were just like, this was right after the election in 2000, and they just were like fed up with the Bush administration, and they were just ranting about it all day, every day. And then they had this idea to do a show that was about an overly conservative dad and his liberal daughter, which is a big part of this show. And I say a big part of this first season in particular. And
later down the line, the cartoon is nothing like this.
I know, which is so curious because I haven't gotten there. So it's a weird show. I remember vividly this pilot leaking. I remember downloading and watching this pilot before it aired. And I think it was actually, I don't think it was the exact, I think they redid it. I think it had some differences.
Yeah. Was it like a, I don't know, maybe 4 to 7 minute thing? I've seen that. And there's like a different Steve design in that. And like,
that's right. I remember. Yes. Okay. I think I remember Steve looking different. Yes, I did. This is exactly what I watched.
Okay.
Yeah. And so I remember watching that, and I was like clamoring for more Family Guy at that point. Family Guy had been canceled, and I was like, I'll watch anything that they make. Give me this. Give me American Dad. And then, if I'm not mistaken, American Dad did start before Family Guy returned, right? I'm pretty sure.
From what I've heard Seth talk about, Family Guy got canceled. They came up with American Dad. They pitched it. It got greenlit. And then, like, not too long after that, they was like, you trying to make more Family Guy? And he was like, oh, what the fuck? And then he had to do it. Like, he never had, at that point, I don't think he ever had a stint where he just kind of worked on one. Like, he was, like, running back and forth.
Right.
He was running back and forth for a while. And then he said that he felt like running back and forth like that, it just like running 2 shows. He just felt like he wasn't running any of them.
Right, which is smart. And then
Right.
it's smart and then that also gives each show, like him doing one and being a part of another, but not being the main voice, gives those shows different, gives them both a different vibe, which I think is
different
important.
identity, totally. Like,
and I think that's super important to American's Dad continued success is them finding its own voice.
Exactly.
So it looks like, wow, 2005 must have been like the best year for Seth MacFarlane because the pilot for American Dad aired after the Super Bowl in February, like right after the Super Bowl.
How Family Guy premiered.
That's right. And then the rest of the season didn't air till later, I don't think. Started in May. So they started its run on May 14th. Oh, wait. Oh, no, sorry. Never mind. I'm reading this wrong. No, it was in May. Crazy. So February for the pilot, and then they aired over May and June the next 6 episodes. But also, Family Guy season 4 started on the same day. So literally, like, Family Guy returned and American Dad started its initial run on the same day. So like, he went from having no shows to having both going. And I think a lot of people probably didn't expect American Dad to survive, but like, man, this show is...
It almost didn't several times though. Like,
right.
American Dad next to Futurama, bro, is like they punching bag. They fucked American Dad up. They like moved it in front of The Simpsons for years. Like, it was on at like 7:30 at one point. Like,
but isn't it crazy to think about the fact that American Dad has like 2.5 times more episodes than Futurama? Like, Futurama's got like 140, and American Dad has 330 episodes.
Because I don't think there's ever been a long enough gap, like Futurama's gap between American Dads.
Right. Oh yeah. Like, they just kept making it year to year.
They ended up
weird.
I don't know what season it was, but they got canceled on Fox, and then they got picked up on TBS, where they were like heavily syndicated anyway.
Yeah, this is where the like season number discrepancies happen, because it looks like they canceled it and then like burned off the last 3 episodes on Fox as season 11, and then it started up again on TBS, and it had like a shorter season when it came back. It was only 15 episodes, but after that they started just picking it up for 22 episode seasons, which is actually more than its Fox seasons, although Fox fucks with everything, obviously.
Right.
But consistently 22 episodes a year, and it looks like season 19's coming. Oh, does it already start? Did season 19 already start? Oh, it did. It's airing right now.
I didn't realize.
Oh no, they're in a little break right now. They aired from January to March, the first 8 episodes, and then in September they're starting up again.
I didn't realize how close. Yeah, I guess nah. And the more I think about it, it makes sense. It's just really close in numbers to Family Guy, because Family Guy is about to start 21.
Right. Oh yeah. Well, because there was only 3 seasons of Family Guy.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
And then, although to be fair, like, American Dad lists 19 seasons, but really we should call it 17.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, because you got that weird season 11 that's only 3, and then also like this season 1 was part of a order of 23 that they split in 2. So like, it's been 17 years of the show basically. But it is close, and also the fact that there are 330 episodes. Like, how many episodes of Family Guy are there?
I don't think they've gotten to 4.
I don't think they have either. There are, let me look. 389. They're only 60 episodes behind. Like, they're 60 episodes behind Family Guy. That's nuts.
Yeah.
And then there's a Cleveland show.
Didn't stand a chance, bro. One day I want to do a video.
You should
just
do
trying
a
to
Cleveland
figure
show
out
video,
what
dude.
exactly the Cleveland show is and why it exists.
I want to watch it. I want to watch it. I've always loved the theme song. Love the theme song so much. No, it is interesting though, especially because like how much they had to change about Cleveland's life to make the show.
it's really what's I think what I find really fascinating about that is that they practically had to create a new character.
Yeah.
Like when they sat down and was like, okay, we're gonna give Cleveland a spinoff. It's like they kind of went, oh shit, wait, who the fuck is Cleveland? Like
Yeah.
he didn't really like his personality trait for a long time on the show was just that he was like slow talking and like he like laid back and like would get taken advantage of. But in the Cleveland show, he's just like really angry and like immature and childish and like he's like a man child. Like they gave him all of this shit. Like they changed his son's design completely.
I know that's a crazy one. How different he is. And then they add all these new characters, which I get is a cool, like having his new family be the sort of impetus of the show, right?
In the fucking in the pilot, they kill Loretta.
I did not remember that.
Like that's how his wife dies.
Whoa, that's wild.
Yeah. Oh wait, no. I'm lying. That's not the pilot.
They killed her in Family Guy, right?
No, they killed her in the first season of Cleveland Show.
That's crazy.
Do you remember? You were watching around that time, so you probably do remember that running gag of like. Remember that running gag of Cleveland, where he would get like Peter would like. I don't know, his house would explode and then the fucking bathtub will come and he'll say, no, and it'll fall.
Oh, yeah.
The bathtub
That's right,
cracks.
I remember that.
They did that with Loretta, but it had real world consequences and she died. And
that's nuts. Yeah. That's actually that's kind of a funny payoff though.
It's funny subversion,
yeah. Wow, that's nuts.
Yeah.
So yeah, these are the 3 animated, we've been talking all about these 3 animated Seth MacFarlane shows. But let's talk about American Dad in general. So like, sure. I watched seasons probably 1 and 2. I don't think I got much further than that when I initially watched this show. Cause I also like kind of fell off Family Guy at the same time. Well, I did that. I watched through most of it, but I think I also watched them at the time. Like I watched them while they were airing. And forgot a lot of them. Like there's a few episodes that I remember vividly, but even just rewatching these 7 today, I just watched these like last year. I watched probably the first 2 seasons last year or close to it. And I barely even remembered half of these episodes. I remembered the first few really vividly. And then the back half, I was like, I don't remember these. But I was pretty intrigued this time. Like, I don't know, watching through it, I could really sense, like, even though I know you say that the show changes a lot, but like I could already see and feel how different this is than Family Guy. There's no cutaways. It's almost
it starts with a few,
right?
Which is weird, but
yeah,
it's not enough to say like, oh, this show does cutaways. You know what I mean?
Right, for sure. But there's significantly fewer. I think, and I don't know, like it almost feels. I mean, I don't want to say it's too much like it, but like more so than Family Guy, this feels more akin to something like King of the Hill, where it's like ends up being so much more about the characters' quirkiness. You know what I mean? It's like
when sometime in college, I made a video about American Dad, and that's literally what I called it a King of the Hill-ized Family Guy.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of
it's a weird amalgamation. Yeah,
it's like it's the bridge gap between Simpsons and Family Guy, where like you still have these characters that like are still really wild and they say wild things to each other, but like nothing is ever contradicted. They all still love each other. Like, and that is the important thing about it, is that it always brings it back to the fact that like this is a family. And like you're supposed to believe that it's a family, and you're supposed to believe that these people care about each other. Like it doesn't, the character stuff and like the jokes are like equal priority here,
right?
Where like in something like Family Guy, like it's just a joke, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like whatever we could do to get the joke off, we gonna do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's what I always found interesting about American Dad in general, and I think that has to do with the showrunners, after especially after Seth kind of like took a step back,
right?
Like, and nowadays, like, you know what I mean, like he says, like, I saw an interview where he said like people walk up to him on the street and just like it just seems like they know more about American Dad than he does at this point. Like it just kind of turned into something, and he just kind of comes in and reads. So like, you know, he's not like a lot of who the characters are right now. Like it's not because he had anything to do with it writing wise, you know.
Right, for sure. And you know, like, I mean, he said that he like partly from stepped away because he was like, I don't get it. I don't know if I get this show. Like, but people like it, and I like. But then he later was just like, oh, I've really grown to understand and appreciate the show, and now I'm just a big fan, and I get to go in and like read. I get to go in and like record for the show that I'm just like, oh, this is fun. Because he's not so heavily involved in making it, even though his name's on it. Man, he's got to have a nice life, Seth MacFarlane. I bet that guy's net worth is stupid. Let's look it
up. Depress me and our audience.
Let's look it up. Let's check it out. And these aren't always correct, but according to CelebrityNetWorth.com, they estimate about $300 million. And that sounds about right.
Have you looked up yours?
Let's look it up. Well, should I look up my, like, what is Johnny
there,
Two Cellos? Johnny Two Cellos net worth?
It might be there, bro. Google it.
That's not me. This is someone else.
I'll Google it.
YouTube money calculator stats mash. What the fuck is this?
Hang on.
They're off.
They got a number right there for you?
Yeah, they do.
What's your number say, bro?
They think I'm worth $1/3
Whoa.
Yeah.
Your number's way higher than mine.
Really?
Yeah, I think mine might be like 60K or some shit like that, bro.
You know, like, that's funny. Why do they do this?
I don't know why they do this. I discovered it one day.
Why do they do this?
Oh, my net worth went down. Now it's 20K.
Tariq.
They don't want the boy no more, bro. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all, man. I'm washed.
We got to get you the bag. We got to get you the bag, man.
I'm washed, bro.
Related YouTubers, Nerdist.
Nice.
That's pretty funny. They don't even put you.
I wonder what that means.
Why don't they put you on here? This is bullshit.
Yeah,
yeah, I had wow, this is a whole. I've never seen Stats Mash before. They've got like it's similar to what's it called? The Social Blade, but also they just try to calculate your money and make that a whole point of a whole point. That's weird. Yeah, you're a little off there, Stats Mash, but that's okay. You know, if we get 500 patrons, I'll reveal the net worth. How about that?
Ooh.
It's not that exciting, y'all. It's not that exciting. So, yeah, this one of the other interesting things about American Dad is, so we talked a lot about this in our Family Guy episode, which I love that episode. We had such a fun time talking about Family Guy season 1. If you haven't listened to it, go check it out. It was great. But we talked so much about how part of the premise of that show is like sort of the subtextual premise is like, Peter's a bad dad because he was raised by all television's bad dads, right? Like that's the thing that you kind of opened my eyes to. And that I think is really smart. I think that actually really contextualizes the show in an important way. And this show also similarly about a bad dad, but they liken this more to just being kind of a modern day, like All in the Family type of situation where you've got Stan is your Archie Bunker and Haley is your Gloria Stivic. And so they, so it's more about like the conflicting ideologies. And like really interestingly in this first season, I think, is that like pretty much every episode at the end of the day, it's about Stan being wrong.
Right.
Every single one.
Yeah. What I think is like really interesting about it too, is that like, that's another way it kind of does exactly what King of the Hill does, because that's what it does. That's what it does. Not all the time, but it does that sometime to Hank, where like, he'll like be really gang ho on like America and like, no, these are the values. We got to adhere to these values. And then it's challenged by the younger generation. And he has to deal with that and like look inside himself and be like, damn, okay, maybe the shit I grew up on was wrong.
Right.
And I think it's like really interesting that that's what the show started out as. You could very, very, very much tell that this was made out of frustration. Like there's no hiding it. Like
yes,
they are annoyed and Stan is always wrong, and there are a lot of political conversations in this show that just kind of feel like they're trying to make fun of people that are like Stan. And that's it.
But the crazy thing is, there are people who watch the show who are just like, Stan's always right.
Oh yeah, he right on with it. Yeah, man.
I mean, I keep getting comments. I today got a comment that was on my Cotton Hill video saying Cotton's right about everything, and I'm just like, y'all, please, I'm begging you.
That's what I find that shit so interesting, because that's what happens when you try to satirize by creating what is looked to be an authentic version of whatever you're satirizing, right? Like that. Who Colbert don't shit like that happen to him? Where like people taking shit like even like
probably.
Boondocks, like
Boondocks for sure.
Yeah, like with certain characters, it's like they're actively
Chappelle,
making fun
man.
of
That's
them,
why Chappelle quit his first show. Like he felt that he was like accidentally he was obviously satirizing stereotypes, but then he felt like, oh my god, people are just taking this at face value and I'm reinforcing those stereotypes.
Right.
And it's just like it's kind of just the eternal question about satire. Like like I think it's important to do, but like if people are too dumb to get it, how helpful is it?
And that's like, that's not the artist's fault, right?
No, I don't think so.
I mean, like,
so. I do think there are instances where a lack of clarity on the side of the satire itself can do more harm than good. But you can't like expect everyone. There's just dumb people out there. There's just people who don't get things or refuse to understand things. And so like, you can't be responsible for all those people. Right. I mean, like, I feel like that's the South Park thing too. Right. Like, and not to say that they always have perfect takes. They don't, but so much of that show is satirizing everyone's feelings on everything. And, you're going to have characters who say bad, dumb things in that show. And then sometimes you got people who are like, I agree with that thing. And you're like, but the show is not saying that's a good thing. And
it's like, when you think of just bringing it back to like the first comparison you made with American Dad and All in the Family. Like, first of all, I fucking love All in the Family. Yeah. But like, All in the Family is, Norman Lear just turned 100 too. Not like a week or two ago. Yeah, word,
wild.
Right? Yeah. But like, All in the Family, I just, even in like looking back at like its history, like the show is very, very, very clearly not on Archie's side. It is. Yes. I don't think it's ever on Archie's side. You know what I mean? But there were people that would watch it every week because they felt like they saw themselves in Archie because he was right about everything.
Right.
And that is so, because it's like, I feel like anybody could just watch that program and realize nobody on this set agrees with what this character is saying.
Right.
It's like the people that latch onto that stuff kind of ignore the last act of every episode where like they apologize.
Right. That's just like the eternal dilemma with this stuff, right? It's like, are people really grasping the messages, or are they just attached to the characters, And but this show in particular, like, Stan is such a caricature. He is such a caricature, at least, and I don't know how the show changes, but like at these first 7 episodes, that man is a caricature of a person.
That's damn near all he is. Like,
yes, and I think it's funny, but it is like, it's like, how could you watch this and be like, Stan's got the right idea? Like, I don't know how. He's so profoundly ignorant. Like, it's but it's so funny. Like, I guess we should just dive into it. Let's just jump in. Yeah, deep in. Let's talk about the pilot. So this is an episode I probably know best out of this whole show because I've seen it so many times.
Sure.
And I think it establishes the characters right off the bat very well. like, I mean, granted, I know everyone says the show changes, so I don't know. I don't know what comes after this, but it feels like I have a pretty good sense of everyone after the first scene.
Okay. Well, don't get used to it, because nobody's like
this
at all. Maybe Roger. Other than that,
Roger's opening is so funny. Like when he walks in and he's just like, "Did you get me my pecan sandies?" And then he's, pretty sure I asked for pecan sandies. There are so many funny gags in this opening. Like, honestly, I was kind of shocked rewatching this. I was like, oh, there's some really great jokes. This is a pretty funny pilot. Like, the idea that Stan has like a terror alert fridge magnet where he can change what terror level we're at is super funny. And then also the fact that he's like, be careful out there, Francine. We're at terror alert orange. Like, he's like, be careful because of the terror alert levels. It's really funny to me. Yeah, it's, but like, this is a very clear what the premise was right off the bat here, which is that like this ridiculous caricature of a like the most American you can imagine, where he literally works for the CIA. He is like, fully drinking the Kool-Aid of, the especially the politics of the time, especially like entering the war on terror era of our political system. And yeah, it's I don't know, I think it's like pretty clear what they were going for right off the bat with this show. And I mean, I think like Steve is kind of just your stereotypical geek. I feel like maybe Francine could have gotten a little more development early. Well, I guess she got some good stuff in like that one episode, but it feels like the two characters they really are like, oh, here are the two, is Stan and Haley, because of their conflicting ideology.
The argumentative, back and forth, because I think really the thing that makes the show different later on is that they kind of, as time goes on, they drop like just the argumentative nature of like the liberal and the conservative and like arguing,
right?
Like they kind of like eventually this show just is just like weird shit. Like they just kind of start doing like weird shit. They start doing sci-fi shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like they just kind of start doing shit like that.
Word.
And it was really interesting to watch these because that it reminds you of what the purpose of them even creating this was, and was for these like conversations between Stan and Haley.
Right. Right. Yeah. That was clearly the impetus of the series. Yeah, it's there's some, I think it's like, it makes sense for them to go in with that premise. Like that feels like a premise that's like ripe for drama and comedy. And I think it works. Like I was watching these episodes and it's like, yeah, this premise makes sense, even though I know these everyone says the show changes, but like I understand how this was the idea going in. Like it makes sense. I'm really curious what the fuck this show is like later. I gotta keep watching it.
You're not gonna recognize it, bro. Like it gets nuts, and it's, man, they foreshadow one thing in this season that I didn't think they would ever foreshadow, but I guess it starts this early. It's later, it's like one of the last episodes we had to watch. Francine, what the fuck did she say? Like the guy at the bar mistakes her for Lawrence Fishburne, and she just never fucking corrects him. And she's like, what is it? What did I write down? Oh yeah, she tells Stan, now go be a father to your son, you strong black father, or like strong black brother, like, and she like putting the fist up and shit like that. Like she like talking and like, or whatever. And like, that's something that they do like it immensely, like later on in the run. American Dad has this like fascination with black culture that I'm still really trying to wrap my brain around. Like
that is weird.
One of my favorite Stan quotes is when he goes, "Yo, I swear, Shorty be irking my last nerve." Like, why the fuck did Seth MacFarlane say that? It's funny, but I never got how it became like that.
Right. That is funny. Yeah, There are some other gags I really like in this pilot. Visually, I love like Steve getting the dog, the like decrepit dog, and him dragging it down the street like by the leash when he's trying to walk it. The joke that I always remembered the most from this pilot that made me laugh the hardest when I watched it was the first time back in the day, almost 20 years ago or whatever, was when he hears something downstairs. It ends up being Roger, but he gets his gun and he starts rolling down the stairs to like to confront it, and he goes, Osama, is that you?
Like he was gonna say yeah.
yeah and like it's gonna be literally Osama, like, oh yeah, he's right. So he's so fixated on the war and terror that he's like, Osama's here. He's come to get me. I also love like they have that plan to make Steve look like a hero with Stan stealing the purse. And
fam, that shit is hilarious.
It's so funny. It's so funny the way the way he flies flies through, and he's just pushing people off the escalator, doing flips, so just jumps out the window. It's so good. It's a great gag.
It's so funny. And then the smash cut to just like all the fucking glass, just like all in his chin.
I may have gotten carried away.
There's a part later where they're because Steve like is like has the school hostage and shit. He's like still like locked himself in the school and shit. And and Stan he gives the megaphone to Francine so she can talk to him so he can go in there. And he tries to give her like a playful, like, you know, like a little chin punch, but he like she like, he does it lightly too, but she like fucking flies back.
It was funny. And the way he's just like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I just tried to lightly graze your face. I guess just don't know my own strength.
And I think, again, no, but I think that's what makes it different than Family Guy, because like I feel like Peter would have just walked off. Like that, that would have been the gag. Like, you know what I mean? But like with that, it was Stan was like, no, he didn't mean it. And like, it's like this like quick earnest moment where he's like apologizing to his wife.
Totally.
Not only I think it was funny, I thought that shit was interesting.
Me too. The whole Steve locking himself in the office thing. It's got the Hey Arnold dodgeball vibes.
Right? Dude, that episode rocks too.
That's such a good episode. It's classic, absolute classic.
Bro.
It's so great.
Yeah, bro.
But it was the first thing I thought of when he locked himself in there. I was like, oh yeah, the dodgeballs.
It's like Curly. Curly is such a funny cartoon character. I know I'm hopping around, but Curly is so funny.
Man, I want to sit down and watch through all of Hey Arnold again. It's been so many years. Fucking love that show.
You ever see the 12 Angry Men episode?
Maybe
somebody pulls the fire alarm and they're trying to figure out who it is.
Oh yes, I have. Yeah. I have seen that one. Yes, I remember the fire alarm episode.
That one's really good.
That's pretty early on, right?
Yes, I think it might be first or second season.
I think like the stuff that I've seen less of comes in the back half of the show. I've probably
likewise
intimately familiar with the first half of the show. And in the back half, like I've seen episodes, and I still remember the
journal
cliffhanger, and like for years just being like, what the fuck? What the fuck? But there's gotta be a ton of episodes I've never
seen. A sick ass episode near the end of the run that I saw recently. It's where, do you remember Dino Spumoni, the like,
of course,
kind of Frank Sinatra?
Sinatra, the lounge singer.
There is an episode where Dino Spumoni fakes his death because his records aren't selling.
Saying that, you're telling me that. That's so
that
nuts,
shit is
man.
crazy.
That is nuts. That is, I don't even know where to go.
That shit is nuts. It's a great episode though, but it's just wild. I recommend everybody tracking that down if they're in the mood for Hey Arnold.
Have you been watching the DVD? Did you buy the DVD?
I got the shitty one.
I have both. I have the shitty. I've had the shitty one, and then I bought the new one. But the thing is I haven't watched the new one, so like part of me is half expecting to get to some episodes and it's still shitty. Like I hope it's not, but I don't know. Because yeah, some of the episodes on the DVD I got first just look like ass. They're so
look
bad.
like ass. It's just like I don't know, man. Them like Nickelodeon DVDs where they literally just threw the fucking cartoon up there. Like those are so fucking weird. Like
yeah,
it's just, and it was a weird era. It was a cool era because like shows that like but it was before streaming when they started doing that. So like
right.
It was cool to be able to buy these shows or whatever. But like, yeah, man, it's literally just like the episodes, and like I think the side of the DVD even says like DVD-ROM. Like it's like
it's as lazy as possible.
Yeah.
The cheapest possible, but like the transfers are so bad. I don't even know how it got to that point. How does it look that bad? It doesn't make any fucking sense to me. It's wild. So I got to check out the new one, and I have it. I gotta. Maybe I'll throw that on tonight. We'll see. Maybe I'll get in a little Hey Arnold mood.
What's that Dino?
Okay, I do want to watch that episode. Love Francine's crush story while she's trying to talk Steve out of the thing where she's talking about the crush.
When she keeps talking.
Yeah, she just keeps going, and she's just like, I don't know if he killed himself or he went to jail, but like it's just like it gets so intense. And then like they have Stan and Steve have the heart to heart. Then all of a sudden he goes, oh wait, no, he killed himself in jail.
It's like Francine, damn.
It's so nuts. I also think the like solution to this episode is so funny, where he just deports the girl he has a crush that Steve has a crush on, and they play it off like this really sweet thing, and it's like
they do that a bunch this season too.
You're like, the best dad. It's nuts. It's a funny pilot though. I think it's a good pilot all in all. Yeah, like, and I don't have the added context of knowing what the show becomes and why everyone loves what it is later, but I do think like this version of the show is established well in this pilot.
I think
for me,
I think for me it was just like I still did like it and like laugh, and it was really interesting to just kind of see the seeds of like what they were trying to do initially with American Dad. But I also feel like it might kind of be like a King of the Hill BoJack thing, like where not necessarily BoJack, definitely King of the Hill though, where like I am so attached to who they became,
right?
So like seeing this is just like I'm always taking it back kind of thing, you know what I mean?
Right.
It's not like I can't watch them, but it is kind of like, damn, okay, like I've grown so attached to who they are later on, but. Still worth it. Still,
and now it's going to be weird for me to go through the show without that context. Like so many of our other things that we talk about, like The Simpsons or King of the Hill or South Park, or Family Guy, I even Family Guy have less of that context because there's still so much of that show I haven't seen, but I know the shows more intimately than this one. So like if we keep going through American Dad, it's going to be me discovering American Dad. Like
I think is cool.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
I think so too.
I think that shit is cool. Like it's not often that, especially on the main feed, it's not often that we do something that I've seen, but you haven't.
Right.
It's usually Slacker Cats, I guess, but whatever.
How'd you guys like Slacker Cats?
Yeah, how'd y'all like that, man? How y'all like that drop? Well, I had to watch that shit when it came out because I don't remember recording it. I remember that we recorded it, but I don't remember doing it.
Right.
Interesting episode.
I have to listen back. I listened to the beginning of it of us like talking about Avatar or whatever, but I didn't listen to the rest of it. I got to do that.
It was wild. That episode came out on James Cameron's birthday.
That's right. That was how we celebrated. By talking about having an outdated conversation about Avatar.
Right. Okay. I promise we'll get back to American Dad. Did you see that Arthur thing I sent?
Oh, I started watching it. Yes, I have to watch through it. But I had to watch all these episodes today, so I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't throw it. But yeah, it looks already. I watched a few moments of it, and I was like, "This is crazy. What's going on here?"
For context,
what is going on?
I brought it up on the pod before, but I sent Johnny this clip from Arthur that parodies South Park to the fucking T. Like the first episode of South Park 2 it parodies that episode to a fucking T, and it's just so surreal to watch.
It's so weird. Arthur did that.
Arthur, bro,
bizarre, absolutely.
I gotta send you the Beavis one too, man. They did Beavis too that same episode.
I would love to see it. You got to watch the new Beavis episodes. I want to talk about them.
We're gonna swap Beavis.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Swap Beavis.
We're gonna swap Beav.
Swap Beav. Is there a way that we can call this episode Swap Beav? Can we call it like American Dad : Swap Beef? Parentheses season 1, some shit. I don't know.
I think that's gonna prevent people from clicking it.
I don't know, man. They might go, what the fuck is that?
What the fuck does that mean?
What does that mean? You know what you should do? You should take the fucking Beavis and Butthead, Arthur and Buster, and put them like transparent in the back of the American Dad thing thumbnail. Oh, dude, that'll kill it. That'll kill it, man.
It's pretty good. All right, we'll work that out this weekend.
We'll workshop that.
We'll workshop it.
All right, I'll stop with the tangents. We're still on the pilot.
We're still on the pilot. But let's talk about the characters a little bit. So
okay,
they established them all pretty well. Steve's kind of just like the loser, virgin son at tracks. Francine, really just wife, homemaker, like kind of character in this first episode. And then she's got the like hints of the crazy backstory with her, like with just hints of like an interesting past with her whole story of her crush, and then like Haley and Stan are pretty clear. But then, so what do you think? Let me ask you this: what do you think about Klaus? What do you think about Klaus?
Man, so who Klaus is now is like he's like. His joke pretty much is that, like, at least the last time I watched American Dad, his joke was that they forget that he's even in the house. Like, he'll be like, "Hey, wait, remember me?" And they're like, "Oh, y'all hear that? What the fuck?" Like, you know what I mean? Like, they forget about the fish, and that's the joke now. But here, him being in love with Francine, I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, that's like all I know him as. Is he's just like very horny for Francine.
Yeah. I don't know if I have any strong Klaus feelings, especially
he just feels forgettable to me, which is funny to me that you say that that's how they treat him later. Mm-hmm. It's like funny. So that's very interesting. Yeah, he's I felt very indifferent towards him. I was like, oh yeah, he's just kind of around. Don't find myself laughing at him too often, but I also don't think about him much outside of that either. So
it's a funny D. Bradley Baker performance.
Yeah, I love D. Bradley Baker. It's good accent, definitely great, funny voice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, I guess we should move on to the next one. Yeah, move it along.
Let's go.
Threat levels.
I got significantly less notes for the next one, so
I have a handful. Mine get less and less as we go on. The last 3 I have dwindling notes, but I got some notes here.
I don't think there's an episode that I don't have at least 4. So
right, this episode's kind of all over the place, huh? It starts with the quarantine.
I thought the quarantine was gonna be the whole fucking episode.
I know. It's like the opening gag.
Yeah. What the fuck?
Yeah. And then because of it, Francine gets a job, and then it's about like her being the breadwinner and Stan being threatened by that. Threat levels. There's the title. But I thought that's so funny. I actually wrote one of my notes is this episode's kind of disjointed, eh?
You know what this is like? This is like a Scully Simpsons, like the Scully era Simpsons with the
where the opening is so separate from the rest of it. Yeah. I gotta say though, the opening quarantine, I love the joke where he finds the biohazard thing, like the thermos, and he takes like 3 sips of it. This is not soup. It's so much of it. And then also just the gag where like we have 24 hours to live. What do? We'll watch the entire first season of 24. That's a good funny gag. Man, yeah, this I like this. I see what they're doing with all of the with the messaging and theming here. So like this one is once again about Stan's outdated worldview and how it threatens him. It's about him being the breadwinner, and then all of a sudden Francine gets a job and is doing well, and she's like paying for dinner, and he feels insecure about it. Like he gets super insecure about it. And that's good stuff. I like that. That makes sense. The episode itself is kind of all over the place, but like that through line works.
Because man, like you said, you got the quarantine thing going on. You got that going on as you just explained with Francine becoming a realtor, but you also have Steve and him trying to do bum fights. Like
right,
which is also going on. And Stan hijacks that as well. And
I think that's when when I wrote down this is kind of disjointed, huh? It turns into this bum fighting thing. And it's like, and that's such a weird solution to his insecurity, to be like, oh, I'm gonna go do bum fights. I don't really track it. I think
the thought process might be
he's making money doing it. He becomes the breadwinner again.
What I think that's why I think that's like his rationale for it. But I think the thought process in the story might be to show the lengths that he will go to be on top, that he will literally take his son's idea.
Yep.
And disregard
and do something horrible.
His son's idea.
Yeah.
And while also doing something, being exploitive and stealing your son's idea. Like it's like that's how far he would go to make sure that like his ego was intact type shit. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Do I think they could have done that differently? Yes.
It really is. Like every act of this episode is just so different. The first act is quarantine. The second act is Francine's freaking realtor stuff, and then the last act is bum fights. It is so weird. How do you get from a quarantine to bum fights? It's a lot. There are some really funny gags though. Like I like when they get out of quarantine and the guy who tells them about it, and then Stan says something rude and he goes, well, apparently your manners died years ago. and then he steps away and he stops and he goes, you're welcome. Like that gag. I thought that was really funny. I love how when all of Stan's like coworkers are kind of razzing him about his wife getting a job, and the guy like reveals that he's got no dick. And
he's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
He like pulls his pants down later.
I know. He just does it later. Yeah, they tried to show the hammer in this one, but it didn't work.
No, there's no hammer to show, bro.
No hammer to show. That's what this episode's called. No hammer to show.
No hammer to show. Oh man, that's funny too, though, bro. I don't know.
But I love the gag. He's driving home and he sees like Francine's like bus or like what's it called, bench ad for her real estate job, and all of a sudden you hear like the voice in his head start going, your manhood is at stake. Your manhood is at stake. And then they cut out and he's in the car with them. And he goes, we're not going to carpool anymore. It's pretty funny.
Man, the Trump thing, whenever somebody says you're fired and then Trump, like they got to give Trump money.
Yeah. Someone please pay Mr. Trump. Yeah.
It is just so weird seeing old Trump caricatures before they started like going ham and like making them orange, like really big, like really emphasizing a lot of shit.
Yeah,
they just kind of drew a dude.
He also looked different back then too.
Yeah, right.
It's been 20 years, so
absolutely. But it was really interesting to me. Like I'm just so used to like the satirized version of how people draw.
For sure. Yeah, there's I mean, it's crazy how many things he's just referenced in like all the time. And now think like the play. Have you ever seen or listened to the musical or the new movie that came out, In the Heights? It was Lin-Manuel Miranda's first.
No, I wanted to. I didn't.
Really good musical. The movie's good. It's a little long, but it's a good movie.
Okay.
Really well made. But they had to change a lot for it. But there's a song where they're singing about the lottery, about potentially winning the lottery and like what they would do. And there's like a line in the play that's like, Donald Trump and I on the links and he's my caddy. And like And the movie came out after his presidency, and they're like, "We're not doing that line. We're going to change that line. We're not even going to talk about him." I think they say Tiger Woods and I on the links, and he's my caddy. But it is funny, like how he was just this goofy, weird public figure that they would just throw in for his weirdness, and now he's just like a whole different thing. It's a whole different thing now. Yeah, I don't know if he never really made an appearance on South Park. He's never really made an appearance on South Park. Yeah, they did two versions of him. Mm-hmm. Yeah, they did, because they did the Canadian Prime Minister version of him first, and then they made Garrison him, and but I don't think they've ever on South Park, shockingly, had like Donald Trump. I don't think they've ever done it, which is kind of nuts. Yeah, especially because he's been on The Simpsons over and over. He's been on, I'm sure he's been on so much Family Guy. He's clearly been in.
There is an episode
early on.
Actually, not even an episode. There's an arc. It's a 2-episode arc where Peter works for Trump.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. What else? So, okay, the other one of the lines I liked is well, first of all, I didn't understand Stan's plan. He's gonna kill Francine. That's what the length he was gonna go to.
Yeah, man. Like, I don't. He's and then he says, "What am I doing? This is the woman I love." And then he like swaps the target.
The heart-shaped target. Yeah. But like, yeah, like I don't know. That was that moment. I was just like, wait, I guess like the whole gag was he was like, "There's got to be a better way than to murder my wife." But I really like the joke when he starts doing the bum fight thing, and he's like talking about all the backstories for his bum wrestlers. And he goes, "This guy's going to be called the Garbage Man." And he's got a catchphrase, "I'm taking out the trash and sorting it." I thought that was funny. And then I also liked when Stan was fighting, and he goes, "You never forget how to fight. It's like beating up a bicycle." It's very stupid line. Yeah, stupid line. But funny. Lines. Makes me laugh. Good Stan line. Stan is funny. Got some funny shit, but yeah, it's like such a funny caricature of a character. What else? You got anything else about this episode?
I will say, I always forget that Stan finds out that the neighbors are gay like later. Like I always thought it happened as soon as they moved, and that's what the episode was about. But it's not. I had to remember that it's not. That happens later.
I thought so too. They do the bait and switch.
Season 2.
Yeah, they do like the little bait and switch where he's just like, "Do you know what they are? Journalists." They're pawns of the liberal media, and then he's just like hot tubbing with them naked. Right. It's pretty funny. Yeah, I thought this was going to be that episode. I thought for sure this was going to be that one. Mm-hmm. But yeah. Anything else about threat levels?
No, man. Got through it.
All right. Let's move on to 103. Stan Knows Best. So this is the one where Haley becomes a stripper, right? That's this episode?
Yeah, that's what this one is.
This is a weird one
Haley
because
moves in with Jeff.
With Jeff into the van.
Which is just his van.
Yeah. This episode felt very dated in a few ways to me. Not because not that the comedy was dated, but like that if you were doing a character like Haley today, the fact that she was anti-sex work at all in this movie for even a moment was just true. Like, whoa, like that's like they would not do that now. Yeah,
that's true. I didn't even fucking
and it's
think
just
about that.
I think that just kind of points out how times have changed so significantly over the last 20 years. Because her whole thing was like, oh yeah, well thank God I'm not degrading myself like these strippers. And like the joke they keep making is that like the people at the bar at the strip club keep saying all of the things about sex work that like I believe are true. It's like, oh no, they have control over their own bodies. It's like empowering for them, but they're framing it as a joke because like they have this guy saying this stuff and then screaming, "Yeah, take it off, bitch!" You know, like just like fully degrading them as he's doing it. But it's, well, you know, and I guess ultimately she does like decide, oh yeah, I could do this, you know, and even at the end, after she realizes she doesn't have to anymore, she's like, no, I like doing this. It's a good way to make money. And she only doesn't because her wig falls off, right? So
right. That's literally, which can I say, Stan and Francine being supportive is so funny.
It's super funny. It's so funny.
When they pull up to the strip club and they like throwing shit, it's just like, you better shake it, I made it. Like, come on.
I laughed pretty hard. At that reveal. Like, yep, we can be supportive. And then they're just cheering her on, throwing bills at her.
Yeah.
I will say, look, what Stan did at the beginning of the episode, fucked up. Cutting off all your daughter's hair because she dyed it, fucked up.
Nuts.
Haley, your green hair looked bad. It was a bad shade. I didn't like it.
It was wild because it was like her headband too.
Yes.
Like it was like that kind of green.
Yes, it was. It was such a deep green.
It was aggressive.
It was weird. yeah,
aggressive
for sure.
green.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, just to your point about how different times are. There is a gag that I did think was funny, even though like, you know, it is kind of still wrapped up in that whole like one career for a woman is better than the other kind of thing. Because there's a gag where I guess Stan throws like a syringe or something like that and like lands in like this woman's breast, and then like they deflate, and then she magically remembers like, oh wait, I wanted to be an engineer. Like,
I was gonna be a civil engineer.
I thought that was so stupid. It made me laugh.
It is stupid. Yeah, for sure. I don't know if the message of the joke is like great, but it's a funny bit. It's a funny bit. Yeah, it's pretty funny. I like the subplot where Steve is using Roger, pretending Roger is Haley, like his sick sister, so that he can get laid. That's pretty funny. And then like the idea that this girl keeps coming over to hang with him is like, can I hang out with your charred sister first? Like, and I like how Roger gets caught up in it. He loves dressing up. Like obviously that's a big thing about him later, right? He loves dressing up and shit.
Yeah, it's so like because they have those hints so he can go outside.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the first one where he goes outside in this season is when he's rostered up. He puts on the Rasta costume. Which is funny. Yeah, I think that's a funny subplot. I mean, like, I did write down that, like, all right, Steve stuff's a little one note this season. Like, it just seems to be different schemes for him to get girlfriends or get laid, or, you know, I guess in the other episode, it's getting that video game system, but, he's always coming up with schemes. He's got these weird little schemes, and like, and to get what he wants, and they never work out. Which is funny. Man. Let's see what else we got here.
I like Francine in the beginning of the episode. Stan is like really sad, and she makes him happy by like doing raspberries on his stomach.
Yeah, but she says,
the way she asks the question is, she's like, "Do you want me to make you happy with my mouth or some shit like that?"
I wrote that one down too, and it's really funny. It's a funny gag where it's just like the way she phrases it, and then the cut to the raspberries, and like I do like seeing Stan, who's just this like ultra macho, like conservative man's man, like on his belly giggling because he's getting raspberries. It's really funny. I thought that was good. It's there's some funny stuff in this episode. It was weird. It was just the one that felt like, oh yeah, this would have played out very differently now, I think. Or some parts of it, you know, I think parts of it. Overall, actually, I feel like maybe not so much, but there are things where I was just like, oh, that's weird for Haley to say. But I guess this was like 2004. So right. Yeah, it's different. It was a different time, you see. For sure. Anything else about this one?
I got one line from Stan when he meets Jeff at the dinner table, and they're talking about how sweet Jeff is, and he says, "Next time I'm low on sugar, I'm gonna go suck on Jeff." thought that was funny. It's a
Oh
good
man,
standalone.
that's pretty funny. All right, well, let's move along to 104, Francine's Flashback. This is a funny episode. I love the opening bit in this episode where Stan is angrily watching Sesame Street, and he's like got all these issues with Sesame Street. He's like, don't trust him. He always says he's eating cookies, but he never swallows them. It's just like it's so weird.
That there's a gag after that, where like it's supposed to just show how disgusting Stan is and how Francine has to keep like cleaning up after him and all this shit. And then he says, "Oh man, I ain't had a time to take a shit this morning. I just do it on the way downstairs. You was going dust and broom, right?" It's like, whoa, what the fuck?
So gross. And then like, right, and then even before that, so like the whole premise of this one is he's forgotten Francine their anniversary, and she comes in very obviously with the breakfast in bed, happy anniversary card for Stan, and is just like, you know, it's this very special day. You know what day it is, right? And it's the day of my company fishing trip, and then he takes like 2 bites of the food and throws it on the bed, and
he takes a sip of the
orange juice and he just drops it on there. It's so fucked up,
sick.
It's so sick, oh man. And yeah, that was pretty fucked up for Stan there. Funny though.
Wait, okay,
what?
I forgot it was this episode. This episode has what I think might be my least favorite joke in the history of television.
Oh man, what do we got?
It makes me so upset. It's the fucking Whitney Houston joke.
I wrote that down too, dude. I knew I wrote, man, this Whitney Houston joke is rough.
Fucking
it
rough.
Sucks. It's such a bummer.
You know, there, a couple years ago, there was a Whitney doc that came out. It was just called Whitney. And I saw it in theaters. They played this clip in the fucking movie.
No.
Like, when they were talking about, like, how, like, everybody was, like, kicking her when she was down and shit. They played, and it was just, first of all, I just didn't like that, like, practically the only time I got to see American Dad in a movie theater was that fucking clip. And it was just projected on the big screen. And it was just, that shit is just, bro, when you know, like, the history and, like, all the shit that, like, she went through and everything like that, man,
but
that shit is...
even if you don't know all that, just, like...
It's just,
like, making fun of, an addict in that, like, that brazenly is so fucking rude, man. It's just so... It's so...
They
it's
treat her like a fucking dog. He's like, oh, go get the crack. And he, like, throws it out. Like, come on, bro. Like...
It's fucked up. So fucked up. I hate it so much. I hate it.
Yeah, man. There's probably like way cornier jokes and stupider jokes, but that one like actually makes me upset.
Yeah, it's a bummer, man. I watched it. That joke bummed me out the whole time. I specifically noted it. The same, yeah. Right. I knew we were gonna bring that one up. I knew that was. I knew it.
It's so bad. What the fuck?
I know.
But other stuff happens in this one, so.
So this is also, if I'm not mistaken, right? This is the first appearance of Patrick Stewart.
Is it really?
I think so.
Might be.
I think so. Let me check. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't remember him in the other episodes. I don't remember him in the other episodes. Let's look up his character.
I don't know. He might be. I don't know. He might be in Stan Knows Best. I don't know. Does this character have like a wiki? That'll be the quickest answer.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. I don't know. I don't know if it matters. Let's see. Let me click. Featuring. Let's see. I did. The wiki's not very comprehensive. That's okay. I think this is his first appearance, but I don't know. I think, can't say for sure.
Can't confirm.
Oh, here. Avery Bullock. Let's see. Episodes, appearances. Francine's Flashback is his first appearance. This is his first appearance. Crazy that this is. It's just. I think it's so crazy that they got Patrick Stewart to be in the show. Mm-hmm. Is he in it? Is he still in it?
Yeah, ain't going nowhere.
That's great. That's wild. That's just like what a get. And also, I know.
Yeah.
I know Seth is just such a massive Star Trek Next Generation fan. He's obsessed with it. So
yeah, that's the best part about it is like
right.
just the fan, and it, with anybody, like anybody could like think about that and realize how cool that would be, just like the fan and you getting somebody that like was a part of something that is like super important to you that you really really like.
It's like
to
the
do a voice.
it's like the Star Trek episode of Futurama. Like those guys were all such Star Trek geeks, and they got to do. And you know, granted, I'm sure they were all geeking out from the get because they got Leonard Nimoy in the pilot. You know, they had him immediately. They immediately had him. But yeah, just to be able to, and you know, I know that they did Family Guy episode with the whole Next Gen cast, right? So Seth actually
they did that episode as well. Funny. Yeah, but they do that. And Stewie just like gets sick of them. It's so funny. There's a scene where like Stewie is driving like a big ass van with all of them in it because he takes them to go pick up like McDonald's,
right?
And like they're all just so difficult. They're all acting like children, and it's so funny. Right. And he's just so upset. It's a good episode.
Okay, Francine's flashback. So the premise of this episode is that so one of my favorite, first of all, first appearance Patrick Stewart, them fishing on their fishing trip. I love that they're all just wearing their suits while they're fishing. That's funny to me. They're just wearing their business suits. They're like their office suits. I think that's a good gag. I love the joke where he's just like, it's like, midnight fishing. He's like, sure you don't need to get home? And he's like, nah, today is the anniversary of a huge fight Francine and I got in last year. And he goes, what's the fight about? I forgot our anniversary. And then just the pause.
It's a long pause. He's like, oh, wait, so just let him out. He'll do it.
There it is. It's really funny. I laughed really hard at that.
There's that joke. Well, Steve is on that date, and then like I think she says some shit like you want to like make out or something like that, and he's like, oh well, I had a good time, see you later, and he like walks away, and he's like really sad.
He's like he like running the stick across. He's got running the stick across the picket fence. He's like full Charlie Brown, like walking home sad. That was funny. Yeah, of course, Roger blows it with his Rasta disguise. He blows it.
For sure.
Yeah. The flashback to how they get together is weird. It's like she was like, and this is like where we start to see some Francine development. You know, we see what she was like before, when she loses, and then she obviously erases her memory, erases like years and years, and she thinks she's 18 or whatever. And yeah, and then like, it's interesting to see what she was like before. I thought this was like a cool, interesting way to reveal backstory for Francine without like doing a real full on flashback episode.
Right. Yeah.
It's kind of smart. And then like, there's a whole Burning Man angle, which is whatever. It's funny. There's some funny stuff going on there. I did like the part at the beginning when Jeff is like, look at this mini Burning Man, and then he lights himself on fire.
and then he runs around, then he stops, and he's like, just picture this, but it's like 70 feet tall, and he like goes back. Man, oh wait, did you know that like Jeff is just kind of his voice actor? Like the guy's name is Jeff Fisher.
I looked that up. I mean, I saw that while looking at the wiki while we've been recording this. I was like looking at the cast, and then saw that one is Jeff Fisher, played by Jeff Fisher. He's the only one who doesn't have a photo. That's pretty funny. It's pretty funny. Is he like so is he actually known for being a voice actor, or was he something else on the show?
I'm not sure at all. I'm not sure.
That's what on the show.
But I guess my thought process was that like I thought like, because cartoons do stuff like that sometimes, right? Well, they'll just like take an actual person and like make them voice the character and name it after them and like just practically make it them. Like cartoons do stuff like that. But I always kind of felt like that stuff would happen like later, but he's in the first fucking episode. Like he was part of the pitch. You know what I mean?
Right.
This was planned, which I think is interesting. I don't really know too much about why they did it, but I always thought it was funny.
Yeah,
Funny
it's
enough,
weird. Like, I guess he was a voice actor before, but they literally just cast him and named him after himself.
That's funny.
That's weird. It's funny. Wow, wild. Oh, he's been in the Final Fantasy series, and he supplied voiceovers for hundreds of television commercials.
Nice.
Wild. That's an interesting voice acting career. Steady work, but like not the stuff that people are just like, oh yeah, I know you from this.
Right.
Yeah, it's funny. So, what else we got in this episode? The whole like his plan to get her to fall in love with him again, through recreating.
I was about to bring that up.
That's a pretty funny scene. The whole like how the lengths he's going, and he's just like turns into this horrifying chase. Yeah, it's pretty funny. It's a good bit.
When young Francine and Jeff start to hang out, and then Stan and Haley find out, and Stan says, "Let's get back at them by dating each other." And then they both kind of pause. And
didn't think that through. Yeah. Man. So I don't know how much else I have to say about this episode. What was the solution? So I remember he saves her from the Burning Man. The thing falls at Burning Man, and then they're in the Dave Chappelle freakout tent, which is a crazy gag. But what is does she just regain her memories when she wakes up? Is that it?
I don't remember. I
don't remember
what the inciting thing was. I just remember that fucking raccoon like zooming in and out of frame, like remember, and then she remembers everything.
Right. Oh yeah. That's funny. It's a weird episode. I don't hate this episode. I liked it, but it does feels less disjointed than like I would say episode 2 feels the most disjointed out of all of these. These episode 3 and 4 feel pretty cohesive, I would say, for the most part. And yeah, I don't know, it's pretty good episode. Thought it was pretty good. There's some good gags in there.
I agree. I'm not like super high on it, but it was all right.
Yeah, for sure. All right, should we move on to 105? All right, we're getting to the point where I have less and less notes, so we'll figure this out. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see how this goes. All right, so 105 is called Roger Codger. Has a lot to do with Stan. Initially, Stan's insecurities about this other agent who's showing him up a little bit. What's his name? Duper or whatever. Agent Duper.
Yeah,
Duper.
I think so.
I like the opening of them like doing a staged insurrection, basically. Like they're like upheaving a government entirely. Yeah. I liked him finishing that off and being like, all right, I'll take the congratulatory muffin. Make it Bran. He wants a Bran muffin. That was good delivery. I laughed really hard at Roger watching Dynasty, the show Dynasty. That's okay. I think that's funny. It's a weird show, a weird old show.
Speaking of Roger, he like says like the wildest line that just mirrors Brian, where he says, "Who do you have to probe to get some Chardonnay?"
Yeah, that's true. That is such a Brian line. Yeah, whose leg do you have to hump? Who do you have to probe? That's funny. That's actually pretty funny. Yeah. Does he ever say it again? Does that become a catchphrase at all?
It shocked me when he said it, so I don't think he does.
Right. Yeah.
There's the gag when Jeff and Haley come in the house and they're like making out in front of like the Bible study, and one of the kids said they should be stoned. He says, "Way ahead of you, kid."
Way ahead of you. Good gag. That's a good gag. Way ahead of you, kid. There's also is that the one where they have the gag where he's like, where the kid, she's telling him the story of Abraham like testing him, kill his kid.
Oh,
or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's like, my uncle is doing 25 to life for killing my cousin or whatever. Yeah. dirty. That's a nasty joke. I liked seeing the flashback to Roger and Stan meeting and like how I mean they hinted at it in the first episode, like how he saves him from, but yeah, it's like I don't know. It's good. I like that they're getting that stuff out of the way and showcasing that stuff early. Yeah. What else happens in this episode? This is the one where Roger gets. Oh, they have to find Roger again, right? Roger's like Roger. They think Roger's dead, and then he gets.
Yeah, I'm about to say this is the one when he dies, right? Or is it? Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
This is the one when he dies. Yeah, and they think he's dead. And this one again. It kind of. And then like Roger is like posed as an old woman, but then like his cover gets blown type shit, and then like CIA goes to look for him or whatever. But this is one of the ones that reaffirms what we were talking about, how like this show is just about this family. It really this is the one that establishes that Roger is family, that he's not just like this like random character that lives with them, like
right.
When Stan is in like the situation where it just kind of seemed like he got to cook Roger, like Roger's just kind of on some shit like, all right, well, I put my family in danger, so like whatever, fine, fuck it, well, do what you got to do. And then like there's this like really sincere moment where Stan's like, wait, your family? And they have that talk. And yeah, it's smart that they do this so very, very early before they even give Roger like a ton of shit to do. They do it so early. And I think it's really smart that they do it that early, because it from that point on, like that's how they treat him. They do treat him as family. Right.
And that's good. I like that. And then this also just like starts to establish like the last one, him dressing, like the last 3 episodes in a row, Roger dresses up and he starts to like enjoy dressing up. And then now he goes out. So like this one, he did it out of the fact that he was out in the open and didn't mean to be, but like, yeah, him getting mistaken for an old lady is pretty funny.
Right. The resolution is funny. It was because they just take the old lady's wig off and like put her in that put her in that bag.
Oh, that's right. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
And they even like they have the like Roger's kind of like taking cues from her the whole time, and then there's the reveal that she's actually racist. He's like, oh, it's pretty funny.
Oh, here's one of my notes. They have the weirdest placed bathroom. Did you notice where the bathroom is?
No, I did not.
So you know how like they have like the kitchen, and then there's that kitchen table.
Yeah.
That door is a fucking bathroom.
Oh, that is weird.
That is bizarre. It's so weird.
They got a whole weird house, honestly.
Yeah, man.
Hey, Ponyo. My dog's here. Come up here. I don't have time to play with you right now. Come on. Up here. Sorry, I'm at home. Here she is.
Hey. Miss me yet?
Ponyo, did you miss Tariq? He's wondering. You missed Tariq? Ponyo, you missed Tariq?
Think about it.
You got anything else about this one? I have so few notes about this one.
What else I got here? Back from the weird spot. Okay. So I have a quote that I thought was funny, but I also have a question. Because this is the one that made me think about it. So I'll start with the quote because I thought it was a good gag, where he says, "Nobody threatens my family. Now get out of the way before I shoot you all." I thought that was funny because he's still talking to his family.
That's just like quintessential Stan at this point, right?
Yeah.
It's just like I would kill my family to protect my family.
Right. So my question is, do you think that Stan is likable in these? Because I think this is the one that made me start to think, consider it.
Moments. I think there's moments, but mostly no. I would mostly say no. My answer is like a blanket, like yes or no. If I can't give any nuance, I would say no. But he is in moments. Yeah, but I don't know. Like at the end of every episode, he comes around, right? Like pretty much. And those are nice, but like 80% of the runtime is him is him just being awful, right? So,
right, exactly.
Yeah. So it's like, I don't know. It's just kind of part of the show. It's just kind of what the show is, right?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just because just the way how abrasive he is with like his disregard for Roger, and like not having any feelings after he passed. But to the
That's where
episode's
he's the
credit,
least likable. That's where he's the least likable for
right?
sure. Is where
But
he's
to the
just
episode's
whatever.
credit, it's semi about just like the male belief that you have to repress emotions,
Right.
and whenever you let them out, like you just instantly made fun of. Like there's that scene where he's in therapy and he's like venting, and then like the therapist's like, pussy ass nigga, and then you turn the light on, and then it's like all the people like watching him,
Yep.
and like pointing at him and laughing and shit like that.
For sure.
Like,
After he finally opens up and they all just
right,
like chastise him for
and
it.
I think it's like, like that's an important moment because it tells you that not only does it tell you that Stan is capable of emotion, but it also shows you why he doesn't show it.
Right.
Like it shows you what he would have to deal with if he really let all of that stuff out, which I thought was interesting.
Right.
But it's hard to, in a story like that where a character is supposed to go through that kind of arc and learn that kind of lesson, like it is kind of difficult to make them likable throughout that, because that's at that point, that's like that's empathy. That's like caring about the people in front of you. And like if you create a character without that, it is very hard to make them like likable.
Right, for sure. And I'm sure that's one of the reasons this character changed over time, right? But you still have to, and they still have it here. Like there's still moments and stuff, but yeah, when you're, and I guess that's in a different way, the Peter Griffin thing too. Like Stan is just so macho man, like problematic macho man's man. Like, and he's like, that's his problem, that it makes him hard to like. If Peter's kind of stupid and inconsiderate, and that makes him hard to like. But I would say season 1 of Family Guy gives more. I think it does a better job like bringing Peter back around than this season does bringing Stan back around in general. But season 1 of Family Guy also is different. Like, I don't know. It's
because I think what the difference is with how they write Peter there is like he's not. Well, first of all, he's not like any kind of like phobic. Like he's not like xenophobic and shit like that, like Stan is or whatever.
Yeah,
but
yeah, Peter's just kind of dumb. He's just ignorant.
Exactly. It's not necessarily that like he does things maliciously. He does them absent-mindedly.
Yes,
they're very careful to like write it that way to where it's like, oh no, he feels as though this is the right thing to do, not because like he feels like he's better than anyone or that like people are less than or anything like that. It's just because he's dumb.
Yes, totally.
And I think that's what kind of like makes me that, because when I see Peter in those early ones, like I can't help but laugh at him and like smile at him. He's like, he's just like, he's kind of just like, he damn near huggable in those. You know what I mean? Like
for sure.
And I think that's what brings that out, is that they write him that way.
I agree with you there. Cool. Should we move on? Move on to 106?
Let's do it. Homeland
Insecurity. Great title.
Great title. Thought that too.
Great. Was the scout leader Seth Green?
Oh, dude, I don't know. I didn't even check.
I'm gonna look it up. I think it was. I feel like it was.
Let me check.
Well, let's look. Going back, clicking back, looking at the episodes.
Looking back.
I don't remember what that guy's name was. What the heck was his name?
Does it even? Does it say?
No.
Say guest stars.
It's. Oh, you know what? No, here it is. It was Matthew Lillard. I thought it sounded like Seth Green to me. I had no idea. I thought it was Seth Green. Like it sounded like Seth Green to me. Wow, Matthew Lillard.
That's funny.
And this is like fresh off Scooby Doo. Wild. That's so funny. So no Seth Green in this one. Noted. John's notes. Um, I loved the gag. This is a joke that I laughed at. So he's bringing Steve. Stan's bringing Steve to the scouts, making him do scouts, and he goes, they're gonna teach you everything you need to survive, whether the apocalypse comes in 6 months or 7 months. That's a funny gag. Yeah, there's some. This whole premise, this is just an episode about Stan profiling people. It's
right.
like hard to like him. He's, like the premise of the episode is profiling people, assuming they're terrorists.
Yeah,
That's
it's
what this
fucking
episode's
the
about.
whole like Islamophobic like type shit that you know, understandably when you do a character like this, like you're gonna have to get here, right? You're gonna have to get here in some way, especially at the time period that this was created.
Yes, it's like
obviously like we
right
was talking about
during
the
War on
show,
Terror.
right? And obviously, like we were talking about, like the show does not agree with Stan whatsoever. So the point of this is to point out how ridiculous people are when they sound that way. And so 2 things about that. Number 1 is they do the. I don't know if you know or have seen this, but they did this on The Simpsons too. With Homer and Bart I think Bart met like a Muslim kid in school. I don't remember.
I want to figure this out.
I just know that it happened, and it was like I think the episode was like HD. Like I think it was like
I'm sure it was, well, because I just got to the HD era and I don't remember this.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah.
Did you find it?
My pods and boomsticks.
Oh, that's like 20, isn't it?
It is. I am almost there. I'm like
it's
about
20.
to hit this episode. Yeah. Which makes sense because this was 2008. That still even feels a little late. Like, I don't know. No, I guess not. Written by Mark Wilmore. Interesting. Rest in peace.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's great. Writer on The In Living Color. Writer on The Simpsons. Brother of what's the other Wilmore's name? What's his other name? He had the Late Show or whatever, or the Nightly Show after the Daily Show for a while. Shoot, what's his brother's name? His last name is Wilmore. Something Wilmore. Don't remember. I'll go to his Wikipedia page and figure it out. Brother Larry Wilmore. Wilmore. Yeah.
But yeah.
Did you know that? Did you know that Larry Wilmore is co-created Insecure with Issa Rae? Did you know that?
I did. Once you said the name, it went off in my head. I was like, "Oh, right, he did something that I like."
That's right.
I was like, he did something that I like.
He's always been on good stuff. I mean, he's been on the Daily Show. Mark Wilmore has been a long-time Simpsons guy. Yeah, they're good folk. Oh, from Evanston, right where I grew up. Crazy.
When I was a wee lad.
Yes.
But so the way this episode ends raised some questions, I guess, for me, because I not like the way it ends aside, like I still think that it's like a funny episode. I think it's funny, and I think like up until the end, I have no problems with how they're trying to go about teaching Stan the multitude of lessons he's supposed to learn.
Right.
By the end of this, my issue is with at the end, and it's a gag. They do a gag, but it's a gag that's kind of detrimental to the point where the guy says Stan may be, you know, xenophobic or whatever, but he's a lot better than our last neighbors. They were black, and like the gag is supposed to be. I think the point of the gag is that it's supposed to show that like we all kind of have our like little prejudices in some kind of way. Like I think that's where they're going with it. But I think what my issue is that the story to do that? Is this the story to do that in?
Yeah, for sure.
Like
and especially just as a one-off ending gag where you don't really make any other commentary on it.
And you
just kind of you leave it up to the audience to take away the right thing, which they may not do. You know?
Right.
And yeah, I think that's a good point.
I felt like they were going in a direction, and that one gag like undercut it. Like I was like,
it does feel like it undercuts it.
Yeah.
I did like the gag, how they convinced everyone that everything was cool was they're like, it was a theme party. We were having like they all bring out all the drinks.
And Stan comes out and he like hoses that woman, and then she like falls in the pool, and she's like, this guy, he's really in character. It's so funny, man. Nah, just like I said, I think this episode is really funny, and there is a gag that is in the fucking bait and switch where like Stan, because there's this whole section where Stan is just following the married couple around and just trying to like get any kind of proof that like they just up to no good kind of shit. And he follows the wife to the gynecologist, and he poses as the doctor. And then there's this shot of just like this opening. It's supposed to look like he looking in a vagina, he pulls out Tic Tacs and he's like looking in a back. That gag is crazy. Oh, he's like,
pulling in her bag. That is a funny gag.
That gag is crazy. She's like, why are you going through my bag?
Oh, that's super funny.
And that golden turd thing, that is a through line throughout the entire series.
Yeah. I remember you mentioning that. Yeah, I'm eager to see more of that. This show's so overwhelming to even think about watching all of it. I'm trying to do a rewatch of Venture Bros right now. It's only like 70 episodes, and even that, I'm just like, wow, how the fuck am I going to watch a show with 330 episodes? That's still going.
Yeah, right.
Man. Should we move on to the last episode of this chunk? Even though this is not really the end of season 1. I feel like this is going to get complicated when we get into later seasons of this with all these weird... Because like I think the first season DVD is like the 23 episodes, not these first 7. So I don't know. We'll see how we figure it out. Okay, so Deacon Stan Jesus Man, the one where their deacon dies and they want to... and then Stan's running for it against another guy. I think the funniest thing about this episode is Karl Rove. Bringing in Karl Rove as like this like scary exorcist who freezes everything. That is like pure 2004. Like that's like a pure 2004 gag. It made me laugh a lot. You're gonna get to know Karl Rove as a character very well soon. When we watch a little show called That's My Bush.
I knew it was coming, bro. I knew this shit was coming. Like, this nigga will talk about That's My Bush.
He's like one of the main. He's like one of the main supporting characters.
Damn, man. Can't wait. We getting close, bro.
He's the presidential resident. He's kind of in charge. I'm fucking excited. Oh, just a few more weeks till we get to do that. Very stoked. Bush. I got to make a video about that show. I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do it and see what happens. What do you think is going to happen? I'm going to get put on.
It could either go really well or really bad,
or somewhere in between. That's my.
So what I'm saying is, there's a multitude of possibilities.
That's that Mitch Hedberg joke where he goes, "I used to be in a heavy metal band, and people either thought we were great, or that we were terrible, or that we were okay." Oh fuck!
Man, love Mitch. Is he funny, man?
So funny. Rest in peace to Mitch, man. One of the funniest to ever do it. So fucking.
So you say, you know what I like? Mashed potatoes. I say, bro, you got to give me time to guess.
Oh, he's so good. I love him so much.
I still do. I used to do drugs, but what does he say? I still do. But
I used to do drugs. I used to do drugs. I still do drugs, but I used to too. Perfect gag. Perfect joke. God, I miss Mitch. Oh, he was so funny.
He's so funny.
I know what's so funny is like I showed him to you when you came out here, but the first time we talked about it on the pod was when he was on Home Movies, and I brought him up. I was like, "Oh, it was Mitch Hedberg. Was Mitch? He plays Mitch on Home Movies," and you guys didn't know who he was.
Wait! I don't remember this.
I think he's in 2 episodes of Home Movies tops in like season 1, but he plays a character named Mitch in season 1 of Home Movies.
Mitch. Who the fuck was Mitch?
He's like a classmate. He talks like Mitch Hedberg. Like if you watched it again, you'd be like,
What?
oh my god. You'd be like, oh my god, that's Mitch. It's Mitch Hedberg.
Man, I gotta fucking watch them shits now, bro. Now that I know him and like find them fucking hilarious, I gotta watch that shit.
He was so fucking funny, man. He was just genuinely one of the best.
Man. Nah, man, he was fucking
we were up to like 3 we were up to like 3 a.m. watching his specials.
It was sick, bro. Like it was sick. I think we like left Kevin's house. Was that same day? Or was that the day
I think so. We were up late at Kevin's and then we came back here and we sat down. I was like, I don't know why I decided I was going to put on Mitch Hedberg.
No, because I remember now, bro. We were standing in the line at the bar, and then you told me the donut joke.
And then, we do not need to bring ink and paper into this. That's right.
We went home and we watched, and then like when I got on the plane home, I like downloaded 2 of his albums and listened to it the whole time I was on the plane.
That's the dream. That's the dream when you show someone you love. It's something you love, that for them to be like, yep, I love this, I'm gonna consume all of their shit as soon as I can.
So funny.
So good. God, he really was just the best.
The best, bro. The best.
Okay, so let's get back to this last episode here. Okay. In terms of the Karl Rove jokes, I like when they say his name, they have like the howling in the background. That's a funny gag. That's a good gag. I'm kind of indifferent to this premise. There's some funny gags in it. Like I like when he's running for Deacon and he's like, the whole thing is like, we're going to bring everyone potato salad. That's how we're going to win this. Everyone's going to get potato salad. Yeah. And then there's the sign that says Jesus saves ... room for potato salad. That's a good gag. This is the Steve pregnancy one too.
What'd you say?
This is a Steve gets pregnant one too.
Right. And I think, Haley insinuates that like if Steve wants to get an abortion, he should, and then Stan says
it's his choice.
He says, Stan says we're conservatives. That's the one way that we don't like to kill things.
Yep, I wrote that down. That's
a good line.
That is absolutely spot fucking on.
Good line.
They also have that like really sad joke about 8 Simple Rules, where like they say something like not as crazy as like continuing 8 Simple Rules after the dad died or whatever. Like, cause it's like the show is starring John Ritter. It's called 8 Simple Rules for Dating My Teenage Daughter, and he's just like the overbearing father. And then he died on the set of the show, like really suddenly. It was terrible, but they had to keep trying to do the show without him, and so like they tried to do
Did you know that that's how Red Fox died too?
The same way that John Ritter died?
Yeah. He they had a new show. I forgot the name of the show. It was like literally like, I want to say the shit was like 3-4 episodes in, bro. Like it didn't get that far. And I think they were at rehearsal or something. I could be butchering this story, but the framework is still the same. He like at rehearsal, he was like having a heart attack, but he would fake heart attacks all the time because he used to do it on Sanford and Son.
Right.
Like the I'm Coming Elizabeth shit. So they thought he was joking.
Man, that's fucked up.
And yeah, like
I'm reading about that. That's no man.
Yeah, we'll see.
So
okay,
sad.
So yeah.
Yeah, he was temporarily resuscitated, and then they couldn't save him. That's so fucked up, dude. And honestly, that was really close to happening to Bob Odenkirk. It was so close to happening because that whole scare he had last year, where he had a heart attack while they were not actively filming, but they were shooting the show in New Mexico. And I was just reading about it today, or not today, the other day. Better Call Saul.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so last year he had the heart attack and he survived, but he like I was reading about it and he happened to be with people when he collapsed. And then one of those people happened to be like the health safety person on set who also happened to have a defibrillator they borrowed in their car.
Jeez.
And like if all of those things didn't happen, if he had been alone in his trailer, he would have died. If she didn't have the defibrillator, he would have died. Like he was so close to dying.
That's crazy.
And he made it, and they finished the show, and he's doing good now. But man, it is crazy. Like, man, it makes me like want to have roommates forever. I'm like, I shouldn't be alone.
Where it's just scary,
I should never be alone. I should never be alone.
That shit is scary, bro.
Yeah. Oh man. Fucked up shit. Man, I don't have that many jokes for this last one.
I already talked about the Francine being mistaken for Lawrence Fishburne thing.
I do kind of like the subversion, the joke at the end where, so like the whole bit is that Roger accidentally alien impregnates Steve, and then Steve accidentally passes it off to this girl he's been seeing who's like the Olympic athlete. Mm-hmm. And then she's like fucking relieved because she doesn't have to be an Olympian anymore or whatever. She's like, he's like, I get to live my life now as a teenage mother. And that's a funny. The world is my oyster. Yeah, the world is my oyster. That's a funny gag.
I really like the. I like the, I guess, payoff of, the gag earlier where she's holding hands with Steve and her mom's like, what have we told you about holding hands? Holding hands leads to kissing, which leads to pregnancy. And she does get pregnant by kissing Steve.
Kissing. Yeah. She's like, yeah. That's funny. She still doesn't know how you get pregnant, but thinks she does. Right. It's pretty funny. Oh man. Yeah, this is a pretty funny episode. There's some good stuff in here. But yeah, like overall, these first 7 episodes I think are pretty good. Like I am eager to keep going through the show and like find that turning point to what the show becomes, because I'm so curious, because like I didn't dislike these 7 episodes. I liked them fine, but like this isn't, I'm not like overly attached to this idea. This isn't an idea, clearly not an idea that kept me going through with the show for a long time. So, you know, I have so much to watch. God, I have so much to watch in general. But I am excited to like keep rolling through and see when do you say like season 3 or 4 it starts to change? Like, what do people say?
I'm kind of interested in seeing when the turn is, because I just know what happens. I don't even remember when it does. I just know what happens.
You just know it does. Yeah. Is it gradual? Is it like real? Is it real sudden?
I'm pretty sure it's gradual. Yeah, it's pretty gradual.
Good stuff in here though. Like I think this is a funny season. I think they're funny characters. I like that it really, it's so funny how people really do criticize this for being too Family Guy like, and I watch this and I'm like, I don't see that at all. I don't really get that criticism. I guess I understand how the animation style and character design might make you think of Family Guy and some of the humor, but I think the structures of the episodes and like the conceit of the conflicts are very different than Family Guy. There's a lot fewer cutaway gags. It's very character focused. And yeah, I don't know. It's just like, it just seems not like that. So, and even from the beginning, I know people say it becomes its own thing, but I think even this version of this show is its own thing. Yeah.
It's its own thing. Yeah, absolutely. Like,
yeah.
You could there's jokes in this entire season that they wouldn't even fucking do on Family Guy.
Right, for sure.
You know what I mean? Like, that's something that I know for a fact because I don't seen all the damn Family Guy. Like, there's a lot of the stuff that they wouldn't do. A lot of choices that they make that they wouldn't do. Even in like the art direction and the animation, like. Look, if y'all watch these episodes again, look at some of these angles. Like the way the storyboarded, like it's not that as flat as it would be on Family Guy. Like there's a lot of different poses. Like Stan is like has a different build than any of the characters on Family Guy, which leads to like different kind of posing and you know what I mean. It's like, and I very 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 surface level. Like there's this very very surface level idea of like, oh, okay, 2 kids and the daughter's the oldest one and the son is the youngest one, and then there's a mom and a dad, and then there's a talking something, like you know what I mean, and that's supposed to equate to like being Family Guy, but like people that make that argument, there's no Family Guy equivalent to Klaus, like you know what I mean, like. I don't know. It's not. I mean, I guess
it depends. It depends on if you consider like Roger the Brian, but also Klaus is the talking animal. You know? Right. So there's that too. But yeah, but you're right. There are different But yeah, it does. But it is funny how there is always like some kind of talking animal. All three of those shows have a talking animal. Yeah, I want to watch Cleveland Show and like remember what the fuck that was all about. Like I want to see. I don't know. I remember watching some of it, but I don't remember much of it. I just remember loving
man,
the
if
theme
y'all
song.
want Cleveland Show, man, let us know, man.
Yeah, let us know. Hit us up.
Let us know.
Good season though. I'm glad we talked about this. I thought I was like I was very close to being like, oh, let's just move on to one of these other shows in season 2 or whatever, But I'm glad we talked about this.
Yeah.
You want to do our rankings?
Let's do it.
All right. I got it. Ponyo. Dog's barking. Stop it. I had kind of a hard time ranking these, and I still don't really know how I feel about this, but I'm just going to go through. I'm going to go with number 7, Francine's Flashback. Number 6, Threat Levels. Number 5, Deacon Stan Jesus Man. Number 4, Homeland Insecurity. Number 3, Roger Codger. 2, Stan Knows Best. And 1, The Pilot.
Okay. Got a little symmetry. Number 7, Deacon Stan Jesus Man. Number 6, Threat Levels. Number 5, Francine's Flashback. Number 4, Stan Knows Best. Number 3, Homeland Insecurity. Number 2, Pilot. And number 1, Roger Codger.
We're actually pretty close. Like we pretty much close. Like, yeah, we did have like we did our top half, bottom half are about the same thing again, right. Just slightly changed. Yeah, it's funny. We tend to do that a lot. Yeah, it's an interesting set of 7 episodes. I was surprised that after watching them all, I was like, no, I think I like the pilot the best. I was like, that's a good episode. Yeah, it's there's some good stuff in here. Anything else? What else do we know? Do we know what we're doing next time? I don't know what we're doing next time.
Maybe Bob's.
I don't know either. Maybe we do Bob's. Maybe we move on and do a season 2 of something.
What do you all want?
Let us know. What do y'all want? If we do a season 2, it'll be like Simpsons or King of the Hill or Family Guy, probably, is my guess. Those seem to be the ones. But Bob's, we could do Bob's. We can always do Bob's. Bob's could be interesting. I do love Bob. And it's a quick season, 13 episodes. We could even do season 2 of Bob's also, because it's only 9 for some reason. Yeah. It's weird. They had a whole second production season of like 23 episodes or whatever, and they aired 9 of them as season 2. And it's right. Like the seasons have been jumbled since. Like every season has been a mix of 2 seasons every time. Cool. You got anything to plug?
Anything to plug? Well, today, it came out today, but by the time this comes out, it'll be out for a while. But I recently did a collab with a good friend of mine, Jordan Fringe, on his channel.
Fringe. Shout out to Jordan Fringe.
On the series finale of Batman the Brave and the Bold. Good video. Plug that. Check that video out.
I did one with him recently about Good Burger. You can check me out on his channel as well.
Man, you know what's so funny about you doing the Good Burger video is that, like, I don't think you realized it, but you didn't say a fucking word. Like, I just kind of like just so happened to be watching a Jordan video, and I was like, wait, is that Johnny? Like, what the fuck? Like, I was so confused.
What do you mean? What do you mean I didn't say a word?
I didn't know. You didn't tell me you were going to do it.
Oh, I didn't tell you were going to do it.
Yeah, I was just watching the video, and then like he was like,
"You know what I thought,
Johnny?"
I think I thought you knew, because initially he said he asked you also. You just don't have a connection to the movie. So I thought that part of him asking you to do it was like him being like, "Johnny and I are doing Good Burger. You should come. You should do it too." So I thought you knew.
Is that what he did? I don't know. My memory is shot. Maybe that is what he did.
Good video though. Good Burger, good movie. I had a good time revisiting that movie. What do I have to plug? I'm going to plug our Patreon. Check out our Patreon. We're doing the Matt Stone, Trey Parker stuff. Please check them out. It's going to be a fun mini series. We're going to do basketball. No, not baseball. Orgasmo's next. Orgasmo's coming up soon.
And then basketball, right?
And then basketball, and then That's My Bush, and then Team America. I'm stoked for all of them. And check out my new King of the Hill video about the alternate finale. It was good. I think it's a crazy piece of history. It's just interesting. Although we did talk about most of it up top of this episode, so whatever. And yeah, I don't know. That's about it. That's what I got. Should we call it?
Let's call it.
Hell yeah.
That
With
might be
that,
American Dad.
That's American Dad. S1.5. We'll see. Or part 1. S1 part 1. Who knows? I don't know how we're going to label it. With that, I want to thank Carrie Feek for our amazing artwork. I want to thank Jake Neutron for the theme song that gets stuck in your heads. I want to thank Michael Yunez for producing and editing the podcast and co-hosting our After Dark episodes with us. If you sign up for the Patreon, you get your extra dose of Mikey. It's well worth it. Well worth it.
He is missed on these.
He is. He's great. Yeah. If he had the time to watch all this shit, we would just bring him on all the time. But that's a lot. It's a lot. We barely have time. And I want to thank you, Tariq. Thanks for talking about cartoons with me all the fucking time.
Oh man, don't even mention it.
Cool. Hell yeah. And with that, have a great day and thank you very much.